Hi, my name is Matt Philippi, and this is a demo on how to connect Tableau to a SQL Server instance. High-level architecture here. We'll have basically using three apps: a database, SQL Server on an Azure VM, SQL Server Management Studio to create a database, put some data in there, and then Tableau to extract the data and create a dashboard. In Tableau, you have several different connection options. We will be focusing on this today, Microsoft SQL Server. If I press that button, these are the login credentials. 6 steps. First, we're going to launch a SQL Server instance on Azure VM. Then we're going to connect to it via Management Studio. Create a database table, put some data in there. Then we're going to use the Tableau Desktop Professional connector. Then we will extract the data, create a dashboard, and then when we're all done, we're going to delete our resource group in Azure so we stop all resources and stop paying for them. As they like to do, security and cost are your responsibilities. So this is not a security best practices. You need to learn that yourself, and cost, obviously, you need to learn that as well. Step 1, launch the SQL Server instance on Azure VM. I am logged into Azure here. Here's the dashboard, and I'm going to click on the plus sign here. I'm going to say SQL Server Developer. Okay. Free license, SQL Server Developer. I'm going to click on that one. Resource Manager, create. Name, we'll just call this, hey, Matt Tableau. Create a username. It doesn't like that, so it's going to be Matt Tableau. Create my username, complex password. Okay, happy with that. Pick your subscription. Resource group, really like this, so I'm just going to call this Matt Tableau. Comes in handy when you want to delete everything. Real nice feature in Azure. Click OK. Okay, so we're going to go with the most basic, 1 core, 3.5 gigs. If you don't see it in here, you can always click View All, and it will populate everything in there. But for our purposes, we just need DS1 V2. Select. Okay, no changes in here. Okay. Okay. Couple of very important strings. So we want SQL Server connectivity. We want public, which opens up the firewall. No change in the port. That's the standard SQL Server port, 1433. And then importantly, since we're not using Active Directory here, we're going to enable SQL Server authentication. And that will be what we use for Management Studio. And then finally, this actually auto-populates from the server name, which is kind of nice. So I don't have to redo that, but you could add something different if you wanted to. And everything else is okay. Summary, running file validation, pass, and then I'll hit OK. And then it will take, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, maybe longer than that, and I'll pause it while we wait. Okay, great. 11, maybe 12 minutes to fully deploy. Step 2, we're going to connect to SQL Server Management Studio. I'm going to go back to Azure here. So the important thing is we now have on our Azure VM, you can see Matt Tableau. Here's my public IP address. And then down here I wanted to point out again, SQL Server configuration. We scroll down. The important things here again are, so public, that takes care of the firewall. The port, that's already the default port. We didn't need to change that. And then we enabled SQL Server authentication because we're not using Active Directory. So that's what you want there in order to connect using Management Studio and Tableau as well. So I'm going to go back here. Actually, I can copy this. Then I have Management Studio open, Database Engine. I'm going to put that IP in there. change to SQL Server authentication, use those login credentials that I originally created, connect, and there we are, logged in. As you can see, there's no database, but we are connected, and the service is running, even though I don't know why the green dot. Maybe it just takes a little time for the green arrow to catch up. Step 3, let's create a database, create some objects, and put some data in there. So I'm going back to Management Studio. Here's the instance. And this, for right now, I'm just going to create a new database. Call it Shapes. Really no changes there. I'll just take it to the query window here. Just take a look at it. There's all that stuff in here. So just execute it. Now I have a database here. Shapes. So now we can use shapes. And then let's create a table called Shapes. Just call it the same thing. Transaction ID. Create some columns. And we'll use an int. Create an identity. Start at 1. Increment it by 1. Not null. So we gotta have a column called Shape. Okay. Then another column called Color. Okay, we can execute that. That worked. And then so we can go over here and check it out. There's a table called Shapes. And then now we can go over here and put some data into that table. There's my colors. We need to put the transaction ID in there. That's an identity. So why don't we do a triangle? Triangle. We'll do red. Okay, and then we'll do why don't we do square? We'll do a blue square. And then finally, let's see here. Okay, circle. So do all the primary colors. Okay, done. Insert that into the table. Okay, I'll go over here and check this. No. Not sure how I got all that. Okay, I just want to select top 1,000 rows. Could have done in select star. Okay, then there's our data. 3 transactions, we have a red triangle, a blue square, and a yellow circle. Great, now we have a database. We have some data in that table. Time to connect to Tableau. And first, we'll open up Tableau. And we want to a server, to Microsoft SQL Server here. So here's the server. So we're going to need the IP, and then we're going to need our login credentials for the database. If I go back to Azure here, remember, here's our IP. Just copy that, put that up here, put my login credentials in, sign in. There, I'm signed in. Gives me my database choices, shapes, and now we're ready to do some dashboarding. Step 5, time to create a dashboard. So we're connected. I'm going to select the database here. I'm going to select Shapes. And we also actually have a table called Shapes, so if it's not up here, you can drag Shapes up here. Live extract, we'll use live this time, but boy, you got to be careful when you're logging into these live databases. You could really jam up the network and the database if you don't know what you're doing. So this is really small. I'm going to hit update now. Populates my data right here. I'm going to go to the worksheet. color, drag color onto color. Why don't we double click the number of records here? I'm going to change the table to this. I'm going to drag shape down to shape. For whatever reason it changed it back, but I'm going to go right here. Shape back into shape. Okay, so then take color, let's create some labels, take shape, create some labels. So I got a yellow circle, a blue square, and a red triangle, and that's actually good, except the colors don't match, and this is not a triangle. So why don't we get the colors to match first? Go into colors, edit colors. Blue looks good. Well, red's not red, so I'm going to pick red here, and then yellow's not yellow, so I'll pick yellow here. I got apply. Okay, now I want the triangles, the shapes to be correct. So hey, that's a circle, that's a square, but why don't we do a triangle here? Now we got a triangle. Okay, and I'd like this to be filled. Okay, so yellow circle, blue square, red triangle. Not sure why it's not. Okay, so yeah, so go back here. I want my circle to be there. I want my square to be filled in. I want my triangle there. It's a little prettier. There we go. And of course, you can make these a little bigger if you wanted to. So there. Yellow circle, blue square, red triangle. So finally, I'm just, as a matter of practice, I'm going to delete all the resources in here, and we won't be able to use our Tableau connector anymore once I delete the database. But so I go to my dashboard, Microsoft Azure. I'm going to go over here, go to the resource group. I did Mat Tableau as my resource group. This is really nice because it's not going to bring up all my resources here. There's several things that got launched when I launched that instance. So if I just hit delete, it's going to delete all of the resources in there, and I will not get charged anymore. So goodbye, and I don't know, it takes 5 or 10 minutes. That concludes this demo on connecting Tableau to SQL Server database. I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, I have public pages. I have a Tableau public page. I also have a YouTube page, and it's MDSS 98108, but also Matt Philippi. I do have some other Tableau connector videos, and then finally you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Matt Philippi, Business Intelligence Architect. Thanks for watching.